guys, welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be working in Clip Studio Paint, hence this view. I thought it'd be fun to work on like a little art trend together. So there's something called like starter packs that I've been seeing floating around, but more specifically the starter packs no AI version. So I believe there might have been some people who have been using AI to generate the starter packs, but a lot of artists are now making their own versions, obviously with their own materials or drawing it themselves, taking their own photos, whatever they want to do for their starter pack. So I thought it'd be fun to also hop onto the little drawing challenge trend or whatever you want to call it. So I believe this, I could be wrong, so please do correct me, but I think the artist who started the no AI version is this artist named Patore. But yeah, this is kind of like their little starter pack, which I think is very cute. So I think the whole premise is basically to draw yourself or your persona or your character or whatever with kind of like the essential items that represent themselves and consider it like a little starter pack, which I think is a very cute idea. So let's go ahead and make a version with my persona. So I have a separate window here, so we can kind of use this one as my reference. So this is like my VTuber model, and we can get started by getting a canvas going, I guess. Posting wise, square is better. So I don't know how big we want to go, maybe 8 by 8 inches. Now I will try my best to link the brushes that I end up using in today's video. Unfortunately, I was not able to find which sketching brush that I've been using more recently. I have it as XPPen 2. I found the original brush among like the many brushes that I have downloaded in the past, but I believe this is one of the very first brushes I ever downloaded, and while I was looking for the actual like download material name, I could not find it. So hopefully I will be able to scounger and find which one this is, because I've been really liking it for sketching more recently. So for our starter pack, let's throw in what we want our little box to be. So we'll get kind of a semblance of how we want to potentially format our own starter pack. So for the most part that I've seen, you kind of like place a full body version of your character. I was gonna do like a chibi version, but I think I'll stick with more of like a simple version. We're not gonna go super detailed. Technically I could just use this. It's already such like a standard basic pose. So we're gonna be fairly tiny. Also song recommendation. I've been listening to Peter Elias again. His songs are like very much my type in terms of vibes, but his most recent song, I think called Call My Name, I think. Let me check really quick. Yeah, Call My Name. I've been really liking it. I think I've recommended his song Paper Plane in the past, and I think that one's my favorite song. So throw down a very simple pose. So I'm gonna probably package everything individually, similar to how other people have done it. Kind of as if it's not vacuum sealed, but like the plastic container is like more three-dimensional. I guess I didn't give myself arms. Either we can get started with working with the characters or quickly throw in our items here. Let's work on the character's face. I don't know what to call my persona, because technically she's me, but not me at the same time. So my preferences for like sketching brushes changes quite often. But one thing I really miss is like a brush that I can easily erase with and throw down marks very easily. That's kind of like a soft round brush. Because at least like when I worked in Paint Tool Sci a lot, I tend to like carve things out slowly when I'm doing sketches, because I tend to use like a thicker brush. think I mentioned in probably one of the other ASMR videos that I did when I was working on Clip Studio Paint, but when I know I am going to do line art, I sketch really messy. And then if I know I'm going to be doing more of a clean sketch, I will deliberately pick a brush that's a little bit more focused towards building up values or something with a little bit of texture and similar to like a pencil, I guess. Figure out this box situation a little bit better. So we'll put some text. So hand lettering is my enemy. I never write my A's like this. I'm not starting today. Even though I think that kind of A, anyone who does A's like this, I feel like that's like a prettier way than doing this. So I know nothing about like product design. I did very little when I was in my design classes. No AI. Obviously the Apple Pencil. I guess my sketchbook as well. Thinking, do I make my pencil case like a separate thing? Pencil case. I like drinking water a lot, so I'll do my big water bottle, which is very carrot themed. It's this one. What else? I guess my bag. I'm not sure if I've shown my bag before. I have a reference on my phone actually, because I took a picture of it knowing that I was gonna do this today. It's very hard to see. It looks very brown. It's more like a very light beige. And then I have my Ike Eveland little ribbon. I've changed out the straps to be more of a like a blue and a cream color, so it matches my ribbon a little bit closer. So I was not really vibing with the straps that initially came with. Had more like of a chevron pattern, I guess. Potted sprout or potted plant. So technically, if I was actually drawing just myself and not my persona, there are like staples that I have. I feel like my friends would probably agree. One is sweaters or sweatshirts that are more like oversized. Number 2 would be Converse. And then number 3 would be, I'm trying to remember what was the last one that I actually had on my brain. Oh, a green, like military green kind of green jacket, just not as recently, just because the clothes that I wear are like a lot longer and my jacket goes like right down to like, I guess the lower part of my hips. But a lot of my clothes right now, because they're on the longer side, they kind of exceed it, so it looks kind of funny if it sticks out like by a significant amount. Okay, so to better organize these, I think it is easier for me to stick them in their own little squares instead. Okay, so we're using the same pen still. Do I want to freehand everything? Kind of do and I kind of don't. Symmetrical. Hopefully that's definitely not halfway. That might be close enough. Like I mentioned, I've been liking using the same kind of sketching brush to do some sort of line work. Oops. But if you guys have done this challenge, let me know what's included in your starter pack. Because part of it's like stuff that I enjoy, but also like just the generic stuff I carry in my bag generally. A little packaging box, I guess, for now. So I'm gonna make another new layer, our little line work here. because I mostly did very kind of like quick strokes, but they're not entirely like all in one go, if that makes sense. I've accidentally did this on the wrong layer. Probably you can tell it's a little bit more on like the simple side probably until I start to make decisions during the rendering portion, I guess. There's like another thing I wanted to do, but we'll see once I actually do a little bit more doodling. I would love to make like an illustration of Maseki or one of my other OCs with like their full Pokemon team. I'm in a very Pokemon driven mood right now. I don't know if it's because I keep following people on Twitter who posts Buddu photos, like of their plushes and stuff. I don't know, they're so cute. I can never make this look correct. Pattern. So even though I'm doing line art like this, there are some areas I don't mind if they're a little bit more sketchy, scratchy, kind of like not really connected. I should probably have like a second view of this one. I kind of want to make the sweater look a little bit more chunky, but it really gives me nostalgic vibes to my paint tool side days. Same on this side, so they're kind of on the lowerish side of my sleeves here. I also forgot, I'm supposed to like break in some heels soon. I feel like I'm gonna forget and it's gonna be painful on the day of. He asked my friend if she has done that with her shoes or not yet. Okay, so let's work on hair. Line art definitely went faster when I was working on the chibis because they have a little bit less detail and they're like much smaller. At this point, my hair is not as long as depicted in my VTuber model. So I think my hair was probably the same length as my VTuber model prior to getting cut, actually. Because my friend who is gonna have a wedding in June, hence like I have to break in my shoes for that because I'm one of the bridesmaids. I didn't want to cut my hair too short either. I still kind of want to like look like myself at that occasion. But yeah, hopefully I can find which brush this is because I feel like a lot of you would probably enjoy it as well. I'm like half debating to try using this for like my mini comics so that I can keep everything still very casual. I love Bonboni's face, he's so cute. But this is kind of why I chose like more of a sand beige color. I'm not disappointed. It's like one of my favorite bags to carry just because like I'm somebody who like over prepares when going out or just like super not under prepared, but I just bring like my phone, my key, my wallet because like my iPad fits like vertically into the space kind of like this or slightly forgot my lamp has a timer sometimes. I think we're good. My bag turned out a little smaller, so it means we'll get a little bit more room. Probably. That or I can use the line tool and I'll just like buff out the corners. Yeah, we're gonna have to shuffle my bag over. We're not gonna fit. Okay, so let's connect all the corners and then we can do coloring, which I might do the text probably last. So I'm gonna put all my line art into its own layer, set that to a reference layer, And then all of our colors will be kind of below. Let's redo that. Color fill our entire box. It'd be cute to make it like a gradient though. A little bit of yellow at the top, more of a cooler blue near the bottom. Drop in a gray layer to fill in all of our objects. So I have a folder right here. I'm gonna clip it to my gray layer. So I think for the majority of the coloring process, I am gonna be using my Clover brush, which I will make sure to link in the description if you're interested. It's kind of like a soft painting brush for the most part, and it's kind of reminiscent to the brush that I like to use in Procreate. Change my line art to be more of a reddish brown, just so we get a bit of a softer look. And I do like painting with this set on. Makes it a little bit easier for me to imagine what the colors are gonna look like in the very end. It's gonna be hard to see until I do this, which is change my line art color. Oh, I forgot to hit the time-lapse feature. Kind of like an off-white, light bluish color. I always forget what color combinations I gave myself for my model. So I'll probably do, yeah, the only part that's like really bothering me right now is the hair. Luckily, you can select like multiple layers together in a selection, so it's kind of easy to move them together. A little bit of sheen and shine to kind of figure out where the screen is. Apple pencil is white. Get some purple going, some pinks, some blues. Quickly putting in the kind of the inside, and then we'll just do random shapes as if there's something in the pencil case. Black once again to the lid. Okay, next up is my bag, which I have to erase some areas here. So I am using like a folder to clip pretty much all my flats and my other colors on top of this gray layer. So if I want to erase anything, we have to do it on the gray layer first, and then we can add in our color. Then we have dark blue, kind of like a lighter blue. Okay, so with our objects pretty much finished with just like the basic coloring, I'm gonna add a multiply layer so we can add kind of like a cooler shadow to some of the objects. Okay. So after we have all of our colors pretty much finished, I am going to change the sketch or line art color a little bit, depending on the objects, to make them fit a little bit more in a softer way. I guess we should do shadows for the objects too. There is an easier way of doing this, but I kind of like doing it more of like the sketchier manual way. I think after I finish doing this little drop shadow, I will render a little bit more of like the plastic portions for the box itself. I'm just gonna take airbrush. Okay, so now that they look like they're encased in glass, or like there's a screen protector on them, I am gonna lower the opacity just a smidge. For consistency, I think it would have been smarter to actually draw in the physical edges of the top portion of the plastic. Also might change the color of our little multiply layer here. Okay, last but not least, for the plastic packaging, I am going to add kind of a little reflective sheen. And then we'll take a airbrush and really lighten that so it's not too overbearing. I'm gonna make it a little bit more prominent on the larger ones. I think we might be okay with what this is looking like right now. So for the most part, I'm going to turn these all off. And we can at least do a little bit of rendering for my character. I'm not too sure if I'm going to really touch the objects all too much, but I do want to fix up my persona at least. So I might switch brushes. So I don't remember if I mentioned this, but I did download the Jing Sketches brush pack for Photoshop. And apparently Clip Studio Paint also takes Photoshop brush files, I believe. So I just imported them into Clip Studio Paint to see if they work. And for the most part they do. I'm not too sure if they work to the same degree as they would in Photoshop, but for the most part I can use similar brushes to the ones I use in Procreate, kind of. So I don't think there's too much to say. If I end up not really talking during this portion, I'll just throw in a bunch of snippets of me working so that we can kind of run through this. But here's kind of the finished portion of at least the drawing. I still have to do... Oh, actually, we can render the box a little bit more too. Okay. So for some of these white highlights, we're just gonna knock back a little bit. And I kind of forget what font I wanted to do or like to kind of mimic. So let's bring this back. Oh, this is kind of fun. We'll just have to copy and paste it a little bit to get a thicker opacity, I think. It's a little large. And I'll get rid of the stem and our text here. So we can just get my little logo. I will kind of fill it with that marker line art pencil that I had so we can kind of get the same kind of that yellow color. Bring back our line art pencil to give back that texture. I didn't realize filling it in with a solid color would have made me lose the texture, but yeah, I think that is it for my little starter pack. So here is kind of my VTuber model or persona. Then I guess we're starting at the bottom. We have my daily kind of bag that I like to use when I go out, my phone, sushi, my water bottle, bonbongi. Then we have like a little plant or a sprout, my sketchbook and my pencil case, and then my iPad and my Apple Pencil. I think that is where I am going to end today's little session of drawing. Okay, so here is kind of the little overview. Last look at our little starter pack for my VTuber model, I guess, and kind of like slash me. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching me work on my little starter pack for today. I don't know if I'll make like another one on Procreate at some point, and maybe I'll do like my actual self as like a little bonus to go along with this one. But I think overall, I think this is like pretty cute. I will talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!